Welcome to the Breaking Average podcast, a resource for visionary leaders and learners leaving average for excellence. In a world settling for what is, we want to equip you with practical strategies to bring about what could be. Now, for today's insights, here are your hosts, Paul and Barry.
Welcome to the Breaking Average podcast. I am Paul, and I'm with my good friend Barry. And Barry, man, I'm ready. This is the final episode here on this season where we're diving into these amazing questions. How are you?
Dude, I am great, and I've been having so much fun with these questions. I mean, seriously. Hey, some guy wrote a book, Good Leaders Ask Great Questions, and these have been some great questions. I don't know if that makes us great leaders, but this has definitely been a lot of fun. And, I think we got 4 more we're going to jump into tonight. And, who knows? There might just be something interesting come out of this.
What's really cool is that we don't script in, other than the questions. I've got questions here, you know what they are, but we haven't taken any time to really kind of hone in exactly what we're going to say. We just wanted to be honest with each person here, with each other, really, and just kind of dig on these. So we're going to have fun. We have no idea how we're going to go on this. I have no idea what Barry's thoughts are, and he has no idea what mine are. So it's going to be fun. I wouldn't
tell him. Authenticity and transparency, man. 2 very, very important words.
Absolutely. And we want to encourage you guys, these questions, whether it's previous episodes or the ones today, and certainly we can provide links to some of the other questions that we poll and use. There's some great ones out there. Just don't use any question. Make sure you've taken at least a minute or two it's a question that's worthy of discussion. So there are questions that I could have just pulled straight out of the hat that would have just made no sense in a dialogue. But when we talk about leadership, it's really about experience and evaluating that experience. And a lot of these questions are focused on that evaluation of experience.
Ooh,
so
that's the magic right there.
All right, you ready? I got the first question. Are you ready?
All right, lay it on me, dude.
All right, here we go. So when you think back, kind of spin the wheels here, and growing up, who had the most influence on you growing up?
Now, growing up's a long time. So, like, what do we need to set some parameters on this? Like, growing up is from like 5 to 15 or 6 to 10?
It could be any of those ranges. You know, so for me, what comes to mind is, and I'm not giving my answer, but think about some of the great movies, the great guides, you know, like Luke Skywalker, you know, with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yes, you could say Obi
Don't forget Yoda.
Had the most influence, maybe more so than Yoda. So who was your Obi-Wan growing up?
Ooh, now that's a great way to frame it.
Yeah.
Who was my Obi-Wan growing up? Man, I'll tell you, for me, it had to be my dad. Like, as I got into, so I'll put some context to this. As I got into sports, and we've talked about this before, you and I were both, you know, athletes growing up. But, you know, I certainly had some awesome coaches who influenced my life, but I think, and in some cases, that was my dad, early on. And so I think that early on it was my dad. I'd probably add some of my coaches in later on, but this is what I remember. My dad always taught good sportsmanship. And I see that today with different, you know, friends and family members, and I see good sports and bad sports, and good sportsmanship has always been something that's been so important to me in the way I played and competed. And, you know, I know this is a question about who influenced you the most, but sports was my life. I mean, that's my life. My brother's life is like everybody this is what we did. My mom was the team mom. My dad was the coach or the team dad. Everything revolved around sports. So influence had to come from that world. And I just remember both my parents, actually. It was always about being a good winner, act like you've been there before, and be a good, always congratulate the other one, win or lose. It doesn't matter. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Do you remember? Does anybody remember that?
Oh man,
Do anybody remember that? Right?
do it. I don't think they say
2,
that
4,
anymore.
6, 8. Who do we appreciate? And you cheered for the other team.
That's
Like
right.
that was. I started doing that probably when I was like 6, 7 years old, and in Little League baseball. And so I think when you talk about influence, it had to be my dad and I guess my mom, both of them. We look at males, right? And I mean, not always, but females look at females. But I think it was actually both my parents. Good sports, good sportsmanship, competitive. Don't always, we don't always do things right, but we always want to do the right thing. They just kind of instilled that hard work ethic. Both my parents. Yeah, I got to say, my mom and dad. I was very fortunate. I know there's a lot of folks out there who didn't have that kind of experience growing up, and God bless you. I'm sorry you missed out on that, because for me that was a big deal. That was my parents, good and bad. Now I've been sharing the good.
Yeah.
And any scenario, there's some stuff that could use room for improvement. But I think all in all, my folks had a great influence on me to help me become who I am today.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And that's so true, right? Our parents should be the greatest influencers in our life, especially growing up. And
This is a great question. How about you, Brent?
Yeah, I mean, the Obi-Wans in our life, right? And it's a tough one for me to give a quick answer, because I want to give my mom and dad too, right? My dad, Navy captain, just what he endured and all that. But you said something there that kind of triggered a thought. You talked about coaches. My dad certainly coached, but I think outside of the family, as influential as my dad was, and he was, I'm not discrediting him at all. There's one person who I'm so thankful for, who was in my life outside of my dad, and that was a coach, Coach Bergen. So Coach Bergen, he still alive today, and thank you, Coach Bergen, for just the impact you made. And his two sons, Mike and John, we used to play soccer, skateboard, all that stuff together. But Coach Bergen would just, first of all, he was a busy guy, right? Ended up retiring Marine, and actually maybe is still not Marine, Army. He was Army. Sorry, guys.
Oh, dude.
Big mistake there.
Whoa.
Sorry, I should back that one up.
Edit that.
He was a major in the Army, and I guess he hadn't retired yet. They pulled him in. He was a speechwriter for Caspar Weinberger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Secretary of State. But just an amazing guy. And he took time to coach our team, our travel team in soccer. And he was different. He was just a coach that was different. And I remember just the belief that he would have in his players, and he would instill that belief. He preferred to give his pregame speeches at practice, not on game day.
I like that.
And his whole intent was,
you practice how you play.
You practice like you play. So we're going to make practice the most important, right? So when we come game day, we've already played the game.
There you go. John
we're game ready because of the way we practice, not because we show up on Sunday and we hear a great speech. So he's a speech writer. So he had some great speech. His best speeches were practice day, not game days. Then when I was an Eagle Scout, I asked one person to come and represent me, to, say a few words. And I asked Coach Bergen,
wow.
Hey, Coach, can you, I'm getting my Eagle Award. Would you mind sharing a few words for the ceremony? And he did. I wish I could remember all the words. I remember he gave me the speech. It's written out somewhere. I got to find it, but it was awesome. So Coach Bergen, thank you. You've made an impact on my life all these years later. And really, you made an impact on everybody on that team. Multiple seasons.
I love that.
So
Yeah, and I went down the parental road, but man, there's some coaches definitely who influenced my life. I think Paul, and I probably shared this before. Baseball was my sport. Really growing up, and it's just some amazing coaches. But man, it's like you win when you get both sides of it, right? You got it at home, and you got it out in the space. And we didn't really even talk about teachers. And I don't want to take up all the time, but hey, man, I'll challenge everybody with this. Those of you, listen, most of our listeners are done with school. We don't have teachers anymore, but your kids or your grandkids do. Pay attention to what your kids are going through. Like let this episode bring into your awareness just a higher level of, hey, who are my kids learning from?
Yeah.
And more importantly, who are they learning with? That's
right. Yeah, you want to be in environments where other people are being stretched too. And that's the beautiful thing about a good sports team. We went up, we were just a normal set of, average set of players initially, but he coached us up.
Yeah.
And we won some championships because of that. And I think, any other coach, we would have just been mediocre at best. But, when you're with an environment where you're stretched beyond your comfort zone and to step in that potential zone, and somebody believes in you that you can do it. And, the other thing is that he would praise you in public and he would
criticize you in private.
In private, yeah, he would instruct us, on those little things that he didn't want to call you out in front of everybody if there was something really off.
Great leadership.
And that was pretty significant. He led by example, wasn't just words. So
love that.
Of the core values of leadership, I would say Bergen had it.
There you go. Bergie. Did he go
Jack
by
Bergen? If you're out there, thank you, sir. I'm sorry I said Marines.
Did he go by Bergie?
No, not to my knowledge. Okay. Coach Bergen.
No, I went to school with a guy, John Bergen, went by Bergie. I just totally random off the top, but just
Then maybe
all right, so let's lighten it up a little bit.
All right, I'm ready.
And that was excellent. First question, golden, man. How about this? Let me throw a little Captain Random at you.
All right.
If you could only have 3 apps on your phone, and you and I went through a little exercise that I facilitated here a few months back and asked, a group of guys how many apps are on your phone, and it was amazing how many apps we all have on our phone. So listeners, I just want you to know I lost because I only had 12 pages of apps. 12 swipes of apps. Is that do you say pages? Do you say swipes? I don't know. Somebody else had 14. All right. So I don't know how many swipes or pages of apps you have on your phone right now.
Let me take, I got my phone here.
Okay. Well, I've made changes since exercise.
I have swipes. Okay. So you're saying take my phone and just swipe it.
Yeah, and there's.
Right, I'm going to do the count. It's hard to hold it up. Go. Okay.
You weren't
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Totally unacceptable.
6.5. That's
totally unacceptable, bro.
What do you have?
We just went through this. I got 3 now. I have one page that's all of everything. Now here's the key, everybody. So I had 12. Okay, and it was too many. So I went through everything, and now I got one. The first page is all the stuff I use probably every day.
Yeah.
The second page and the third page are the folders, how you can put stuff in the folders, like for my banking or for my recreation or for my weather. So if you're not scattered out. So now I can if I want to get something, I got rid of a bunch, trust me. But if I want to get to somewhere, it's no more than 1, 2 and that's it. Cause you start at 1, 1, 2. I don't have to swipe more than twice. But here's the question.
Yeah.
Now that we've done all that, if you could only keep 3,
Oof.
So like you definitely only need one page, because I don't know what's a page fit, like 4 times 5 is like
Yeah.
20 or 20 something. So if you could only keep 3 of your apps, everybody, are you listening to this question?
3 apps.
Go 3 apps, Paul. 3 apps. Which
So
3?
is this cumulative? Like you pick 3 and I pick 3,
No,
and we
no.
both have 6
Well,
apps
no.
in the end?
No.
I need 6
No,
apps.
that's not how it works. No, that's no.
I say we do
3.
6. You
get
pick
your
3 and I
3.
pick.
I get my 3.
Okay,
That's
gosh.
you don't get a piggyback on my 3.
I want to piggyback on
I
you.
probably
I want
don't
a
need
6
your
in the
other-
end.
No,
All
you
right,
don't
go.
need 6.
So you want me to go first? You want me to just dish one out?
Kind of how it works when I ask you the question.
You want me to give you 3
I want
right
you to
away?
give your 3.
My 3. Oh my
Your 3.
gosh.
Then I'll give you my 3. Which, by the way, I still don't know. Well, you give me your 3.
Okay. Well,
3.
there's 6 that stand out.
No. Well, then that should make it easy.
I got to.
Who's
I mean,
eliminated?
there's a bunch here, but yeah, I mean, you called it right. So the very first screen is my main app. So that's what I'm looking at. There's 6 that I use a lot. I'll give you my 6 and then I'll pick 3. You ready? Here they go. I'm just going to roll them out super fast. I use messages, right? For texting a lot.
Yes.
I use my bank app. I won't say the bank, but I use my bank app a lot. Music. I like to have music.
Okay.
I use Audible a lot. I like to listen to books.
Yes, you do. I know that.
And Kindle. I like to read books. Those are my 6.
Phone? You read books on your phone?
I do a lot.
Okay.
Oh man, there's the camera app too. Oh my God.
Oh, yep.
I forgot the camera app. That's the main one.
3 apps, Paul.
I'm taking the phone app off. So I can't dial anything.
Yes. I'm with you there, man.
It's gone.
No calls in, no calls out. No problem.
And I'm presuming that my settings is set where I got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi so I can connect it to any peripherals in the network.
Way overthinking it now, CTO.
Yeah. All right. So I would say I'm taking my music off. It's not there anymore. I can live life without music. I can live life without Audible. I can live life without text messaging.
Ooh.
That's tough. That's really hard.
Now, how are you gonna? So now you've eliminated all communication with your friends and family.
Yes.
Okay. Just throwing that out there.
No, that's true. I kind of want to keep. I kind of want to keep message. Yeah, let's bring that one back.
Yeah, your wife might appreciate that when she.
Yeah, I need that. I need to connect to the key people.
Yeah.
I did have Twitter on here because I do like to see the news. I'm taking that one off.
That's a good call, and it's X, by the way.
X. I took X off. I X'd it out. All right, so I got Messenger. I got USA. My bank. USA. I just said it.
You said
my
it.
bank. I think camera wins over Kindle.
Well, I would definitely hope so.
As painful as that is, camera over Kindle.
So what are your 3? The camera,
message, USAA, camera,
message,
bank, camera,
and camera.
If those are the only 3, I need those to survive.
See, I would just go get cash and I get rid of the bank. I'm totally. The camera was like number 1.
All right, so go ahead. You're going camera, so we both got camera.
Because you got your messaging, your camera, and the bank. That's where you landed the bus.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm with you on the camera, and I gotta have that. Like, to me, that was the number 1 because that captures moments, that captures experiences. At the end of the day, that's all we have. And like every day I go to my camera and photos and, I guess that's like, is that, if you get camera? Do you get to keep photos?
Yes, they're combined. Come on,
Okay,
dude.
okay,
You gotta-
good. All right, thank you for that. So you can have that too.
Yeah.
If you got camera, you got photos. All right, so because, like, I mean, come on, you gotta you just there's stuff that comes up all the time. You just want
That's
to
right.
capture that moment, right? So definitely camera. I'm with you. Messages. I hate the phone.
Yeah.
All the listeners out there. Now I'm connected to a lot of people. Most of you have probably never spoken to me on the phone. I do not like talking on the phone. Send me a text message. I will text. That's what I watch. If you're not in my phone book, I don't even answer the phone. So hey, I'm just saying, and not that I don't love you, but I'm not going to answer it. I got to have messaging because then I got to be able to stay connected with my loved ones. Like,
So we're 1-for-1 so far.
yes, we're 2-for-2. Camera and messaging.
That's right.
And then you went with bank. See, now I'm not bank. I got to stay connected.
I find
Don't want the
online
phone.
banking on a mobile device is way better than on a web browser on a computer.
I don't care about the bank, bro. Like,
Well, got to pay my bills.
well, yeah, everything's on auto pay in my world because then I don't have to worry about it.
All right.
It's
So
like-
what's your third?
So I'm really trying to answer this question without going to my phone because I got a good feeling of what's on.
Don't say solitaire.
No. It's nothing like that. I'm thinking about what's on my homepage, and oh, I gotta look because it's like I don't even know where my phone's at.
I mean, I would imagine our listeners are thinking, browser. If you just put your browser, you can do anything.
No, that's that. No, that's
I'm not. I don't like using my phone for browsing the internet. And Siri can go away.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Hey Siri.
So I'm down to two things, bro. And I actually identified these things thinking about it. My weather app and my bird app.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I said SIRI, and now she's talking to me. You do that to me all the time.
I know it's annoying.
Got to go with the weather app. I live in Southeast Florida. If there's only 3 things, that sounds like messed up, but like in reality, that's important down here.
See, I think what we should have done is like, think about it this way.
Oh, like your answers are right and mine are wrong?
No. But if all we need, just you and I, we both need message, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if you and I both have message,
no, you can't.
You have 2 other ones. You've got camera, and you got weather. I mean, really, we should have rethunk this. Like, how can
you're all trying? You're assuming we'll be together at all times to where, like, I could use your camera, you could use my messaging, and it doesn't work that way.
But you could send me a picture.
You only get 3. You get 3.
Yeah.
You get 3. I'm going to go with my weather app. I like my weather app. And I like the bird app too. But the weather app's more about safety. So I'm going with the camera, the messaging, and the weather app. You can
going with the camera, the messaging, and the bank app.
No, I don't care about my bank. Like, everything's on auto pay. It'll take care of itself.
I'm just like, what are the tools I use every day? I check.
Hey, look, I was on my Schwab app today. I'll give you that. Yeah. At the time we're recording this, we're like in a big sell-off, headed into a recession. So God bless you guys in the market. Hey, but we're about ready for rebound. Watch.
It'll come back.
I called it here first.
It'll come back.
Or 7th or 14th, but.
All right, so that was fun. 3 apps. All right. But the question is, are you really going to remove all those other apps? No.
But if I had to, that's what I would do.
Me too.
But it makes me think. I'll tell you this from now on, when I open an app, I'm going to be like, I remember that conversation I had with my brother Paul.
I will tell you this. I have one phone, an old phone that has only one app on it. And it's none of the ones we just mentioned.
Why do you have an old phone with an app on it?
because if I wake up at 4 a.m, I don't want to get up. So what I do is I have a biography book always ready to play on Audible on my old phone. And I just plug in a flat set of earphones so I can sleep on the side and I listen to a book.
Okay.
Works great. Puts me back to sleep, takes my mind off whatever it is I'm thinking about, gets me on a story, and puts me back in La La Land.
All right, I respect that. I don't read a lot of books to intentionally put me to sleep, but you're my brother, so
And this is not nursery rhyme stuff, These are
no.
legitimate biographies are the best books to listen to at night.
Just finished a Teddy Roosevelt biography today.
Well, that'd be good.
So it's covering his presidency. It's through a series of 3. The next one is post-presidency.
Is this his autobiography?
No, it's not an autobiography, but it's a lot has been pulled from his journals.
Because he wrote his own autobiography.
It's like 25 hours. 25 hours leading up to presidency. 25 hours is presidency. And now the next one is like another 25 hours of post-presidency. So
he was the youngest president of all time, right?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
All righty.
We digress.
No, this is good. Okay. All right. So you ready to have some fun on this one?
Oh, we got some more questions?
I got more. So
I think we got 2 more to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, this has been good. All right. So
all right, I'm ready.
I have time travel capability. You ready?
A what?
I have a time travel capability. All right. So this is just make-believe stuff. But let's say I do. Let's say I have a time machine.
All right.
And in this time machine, Barry.
Yes.
You can go any stretch forward or back. Okay. But it only lets you go there for 1 week, forward or back. So would you rather live 1 week in the past or 1 week in the future?
Wow. So what immediately went through my mind is if I went back, I could take the knowledge that I have and add value to that group. Or if I went forward, I could get new knowledge and come back and be like Nostradamus and like maybe know what stock to invest in or something. Man, that's like a big question.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I think I would go back. I think I would go back. And I think I would go back. Man, this is like, what do you want to do? Go forward. This is tough, man. This is probably, what are we, 23 questions in now? This is probably the toughest question we've asked. Would I want to go forward or back? I think I'd want to go back regardless, because if you go forward, then I just feel like that's gonna take away your ability to choose. You're gonna start, everything you do is going to be based on what you know to be true in the future, and that's part of like living. It's like, oh man, like right now, right? We're in a challenging economic time. We're coming up on an election. What are you going to do? Who are you going to vote for? What's the next 4 years going to look? Heck, what's the next 4 weeks going to look like? And so I don't think I would want to be that guy. I think I would want to take what I know and go back and help the people that came before me. Help my dad have a better life. Help my grandfather have a better life. My great grandfather have a better life. I think I'd go back. I think I would go back and I'd live a week. And I don't think I'd go back real far. I think I would go back. I think I'd go back to when my kids, I think I'd only go back a decade, maybe.
Yeah.
And I would tell my kids how to invest so
There
that
you go.
they could write their own chapter. And that's not like saying buy Microsoft, it's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying pay attention, right? Pay attention to how to better yourselves moving forward. Because I've learned a lot in the last decade, 2 decades. Man, there's a lot of things. No regrets, but man, if I knew then what I know now, I could have made some way better decisions. Not that I made bad decisions, I made average decisions. Oh, breaking average. Uh-huh. So I think I would want to go back and I would want to help my kids break average.
There you go.
Bingo.
Amen
There
to
it
that.
is.
That's good.
Top that, brother.
All right. So it's a tough question, right?
It's a brutal question.
Think about it. If you were George Washington or any of the founding fathers, you would think that the way they would answer this question would be they would go forward into the future because they cast a vision, they saw it executed, and they would want to see the impact of their decisions. And I think any leader would have that desire to see what is the long range impact of the decisions that I made, that I helped make. So I get it. But in the moment of, we don't think strategic sometimes, so we think more tactically in terms of, how we can best improve the present rather than thinking about the impact that we make in the future. And so therefore, I'm answering the same way you are. I'm going back in time. I want to spend a week. I want to go back for a week and kind of revisit some things. And I kind of think I want to do it in stealth mode, meaning I don't want them to know it's me. They probably wouldn't think it was me anyhow, the way I look today versus when I was a kid, but that's all right. I would go back. I would see myself. I want to see me. I'll come back to that one in a minute. I want to, and again, it's hard to pick the week. Like, what 1 week would I go back to?
1 week.
This is not Marty McFly going back and fixing
Back to the
George
future.
McFly and everything else. It's a tough one.
This has been our toughest question. Absolutely.
It is tough. I mean, I only get 1 week. I get 7 days.
7
days. I kind of want to go back to when I was alive, younger, and having some influence on me and maybe those that I'm with, my family. But I can also understand your point too, going back when we were younger dads, right? And just trying to influence there. I will say one more thing before, as we wrap this one up. I think that's only the right answer to this question is going back in time, even though I mentioned the George Washington one, because we have a time machine as it is. It takes us to that 1 week in the future.
Love that.
Right? It's already in place. You're already moving forward into the future anyhow. So you might as well change it. Do what you need to do now in the week that you have. Don't sit idle. Do what you must. Do what you need to do. You can influence change in the future. It's there. Starts
Peter
today.
Drucker, and for you business people out there, Peter Drucker, one of the most highly recognized business minds of all time, said the best way to predict the future is to create it.
That's exactly right.
I always love that quote, man.
It's absolutely true.
Incredible quote.
And if you want to break average, you got the opportunity. You can do that.
There you go.
Average is average, right?
Average.
So find a way to lift that, do it, make the change, step out of your comfort zone, go make that change. The future, we're already in a time machine that takes us into the future. It's already there.
Time machine. Yeah.
All right. We live in a time machine right now. Unfortunately, it ages, it gets old like a car, but nonetheless, it'll take you there.
Like our car, like us, man. We age. All right. So we got to bring this baby home, huh?
Yeah, so I'm going back in time. I'm going back to when I was a kid before I was a parent. I'm influencing young Paul, and I am influencing others. I'm probably going to high school. I'm probably going to when I transitioned from a track guy or soccer guy to a track guy in high school. And it's my junior year of high school, and I'm changing the world right there. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Look at
Because
you.
I think that set the bar for everything.
So, like, you can be like the president of the school class and all that, and cum laude.
I think I played a passive. That was the year. So think about it.
So you didn't go all in.
Yeah, so my
Early
junior,
80s?
it was probably between my junior and senior year. So between my junior and senior year, I remember I was at that camp. I was on the hook. That's when I slid down that mountain, and I was a go-getter before, and then I kind of slowed down after that because I just like, wow, that's kind of scared me, spooked me.
Yeah.
I would do something then. Maybe not my junior year, but maybe right at the beginning of my senior year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'd like the clarity, man.
Yeah.
Run with that. Share that with your boys.
I need to.
Sorry with
Good.
your
I just pulled up another question. I know this feels like, oh, another one. This one
Okay.
says, I don't know where it came from. It just randomly was on my desk. It says past, present, future. I'll kind of put it in the camera.
What's the question?
And the question is, believe it or not, it says, if you could time travel to permanently alter one historical event, what would it be? It's kind of a different question, but think
Is
about
this
it.
like a bonus question
change
then?
one historical event, what would it be?
Man.
And there's so many that I could just line up and pick, right?
Yeah, but if you could change what happened, how would that change what's happened?
I know, exactly.
That's what's going through my
Do you
mind.
really want to go change one historical event? And I think I would. I would. There was definitely one that I would change, and I'd stop Hitler. I would somehow go back in time, and the historical event that I would change. And it doesn't mean, again, I'm not sure I'd say I'd take him out. I'm not that kind of guy. But man, think of the Holocaust. Think about that. That should have never ever happened.
Yeah.
Never happened. So anyway,
I totally agree with that. I think for me it'd be 9/11.
Yeah, definitely 9/11. But I just think,
No, I look, your answer's not wrong. Trust
yeah,
me. I'm just being fully transparent. What popped into my head at first, just because, like, that changed. I mean, not that what happened with Hitler in World War II didn't change everything, but by the time we got to 9/11, like, there was social media, there was like everything is covered. It's like, there wasn't a big secret that you found out about months later.
yeah.
And like, it changed the world. It changed everything. It changed everything. And so, like, I don't know, am I wrong because that needed to happen? So we all heightened our security, but it dishonored the thousands of lives that were lost.
It changed everything. All right.
Crazy.
I mean, think about the effect of. There are people who probably are watching or listening to this podcast who were born after 9/11.
Yeah.
And you don't understand what went through that experience. And it's just like my parents telling me that I don't understand what happened with Pearl Harbor. And they're right. I was born in the late 60s, and no, I don't know what happened at Pearl Harbor. I mean, I know what happened at Pearl Harbor, but I wasn't there like my dad and mom were. And the fear that they had, potentially, they we could just go do a whole other podcast on that one. But
it's crazy. Like, what would you change? Like, even COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't wish COVID on anybody, and I've had it 3 times. But it's like, if we wouldn't have had that, would we all be where we're like, be all sick now? I mean, like, it's all crazy stuff. So
it's crazy.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's hard to change.
Like, we learn. My wish and all that would we just learn from what we go through. Evaluated experience. Evaluated experience. If we can learn from it, may be bad, doesn't make it a disaster, doesn't make it a failure. If we can learn from it to better our future, then that's a good thing. That's another tough one, man. Why'd you have to bring that in here? You're draining me emotionally, bro. This is like, you're making this tough.
It makes us think, right? It's all about evaluating. The beauty of these questions is it draws evaluation of your experience.
All right. So in all of that, let's bring this series home.
All right.
We've thrown a lot of stuff out on the table tonight.
It's been rich.
If you could give any advice to your younger self, if you give any advice to your younger self, and we've tapped in this a little bit tonight,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Okay. There's so many different ways to answer this, right? So it could be the affluential statement to myself, right? Oh, go buy the Apple stock, right? Or go do this, do that, do this. I could do all of those things. And it would change. It would make an impact if I would listen to myself, right? If I could tell my younger self something. It's interesting because it ties nicely because I said I'd go back in time. I spent a week with myself. It influenced me when I was a senior in high school. And I think the one piece of advice that I would share is, let me see if I got it here. I've got some quotes here that I like, and this is it. Doubt will kill you. Actually, here, let me rephrase that. Doubt will kill more dreams than failure ever will.
Mm.
I think that's the piece of advice that I would speak to my younger self. It's like, because I think I had a lot of doubt when I was a teenager.
Yeah,
a lot
probably
of worry,
both of
a little
us.
anxiety. And I think that doubt will kill more dreams than failure ever will.
Yeah.
Just do, I'd probably add to that a little bit, but it would start with that statement. How about you?
I like that. Man, that's another loaded one. I think what popped into my mind, and I like, even as I asked it, I'm like, man, what do I want to do with this? And I think for me, advice, like I think back to all the good decisions, bad decisions, like everything I went through. And I think for me, and I'll pull from someone you and I are both familiar with, Dr. Henry Cloud, who said, you get what you create and you get what you allow.
Wow.
And I think the advice I would give myself is that, look, dude, like you go out, do your due diligence to make the decisions you got to make, or you just listen to the masses, see what they're doing and follow them. And it's like, as I've gone through life recently, I realized, nah, man, you got to stay away from the noise. You got to stay away from the clutter, right? More words from people you and I respect. And just be really focused on your mission, what you want to do, and I would tell that to any of my kids. You and I both know my kids are in their early 30s. I think yours are in your late 20s. They're all not that far apart. And it's like, what's your purpose? What's your mission here?
Yeah.
And you get what you create and you get what you allow. And the advice would be, look, take control of your own life. Don't let other people influence your decisions. Do your homework and make decisions based on what you believe is true and in alignment with what you believe and your values. That's a filter. That's an unbreakable filter.
Yeah.
Now, may not be right, may not be wrong, but if your values are this and your decisions are filtered through this, then you're going to stay in alignment with who you are and what your purpose is.
Yeah. This is a great, let me ask you a question, Barry. What's more important, do you think? Values or vision?
Oh, absolutely values.
Amen.
Not even the values are foundation. There is no vision without values.
Yep, it sets up everything. And I think as society, we kind of missed that. Not maybe you and I would get it right now. Maybe I didn't understand when I was younger. I understand it now. Your values drive everything.
Absolutely.
You get that right, you get your decisions
You're
right,
unbreakable.
you get your life right.
You can withstand anything. I talked about this, I don't know, maybe here, I don't know, I bring this up all the time because I live in South Florida now. Man, hurricane country. Oh, as we speak, Hurricane Debbie just walked through Florida on its way to South Carolina, Georgia, and everything else. But if you got that solid foundation, man, you're just a lot better off. And that's life, right? The hurricanes are going to come. The hurricanes are going to come. It may be an illness. It may be a financial crisis. It may be a death in the family. It could be anything, but the hurricanes are going to come. And if you don't have that foundation, then you're not going to support any vision you have.
Yeah.
You got a strong foundation, you can withstand the storm.
And I think that's the important thing of all the questions that we've asked tonight in this, right? Our best answers to these and the impact and influence we can make. Who's had the most influence to you growing up? It wasn't anybody necessarily casting a vision, although that's important. It was the values that were instilled in us, right?
Believed in us. Yeah.
Right.
I missed that.
And if I could delete all but 3 apps, well, we're picking the ones that add the most value to you. What would you rather go 1 week in the past or future? Well, we both said past. Why? Because we want to influence the values. Yeah. And then what advice would you give yourself? It's a value-based response, right?
Ding, ding, man.
Am I really going to value the doubt, the fear, the anxiety, the worry over what could be? Instead of asking why, ask why not. Go, do it. Go forward, move, take that step, keep going. You might slip, but you might not. So I think that's what's powerful about it. If we want to break average, you just can't have a vision of breaking it. Oh, I'm going to break average. Oh, what are your values to that? So, and these are powerful. That's what I love about these questions. They're all value-based. So
all values-based.
Yeah.
Values is the foundation, man. Outstanding. Hey, so there you have it. Final thought, challenge, encouragement.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I hope everybody's enjoying this. I would say, and this is just sitting here. I just looked at it, and this I think ties into it. I would add to this.
Question?
What's that?
That looks like a handwritten question.
It is. It's I tore this off a piece of paper. It was a thought that hit me a couple of weeks ago, and it says, "Embrace the value of all people." So I would say, in addition to what we talked about, value-based, see the value in other people. So add to that. And if we really, really, truly want to influence others and add value to them, then we have to see the value of those people, right? Yeah. We've got to see that, whether, I think the metaphor is, act as if everybody's wearing a name badge that says, I'm somebody. And look at them to see what it is. And I'm sure there's better metaphors to it, but it's seeing people not for who they just are, but who they're meant to be and what they can do. And so I just want to encourage everybody with that.
I love that.
Yeah. How about you? What's your take?
Well, no, I'm gonna jump right on that. I just finished facilitating the mastermind group with John Maxwell's 16 indispensable laws of communication with a great group of guys and one gal. Don't want to leave her out. But John talks a lot about in the law of adding value. That same stuff, man. Love people unconditionally. Always look at them as a 10. And what I encourage this group, we just actually finished up last week. What's today? Tuesday, Monday? Like 4 days ago, we finished up our week 10. And I'm like, guys, man, look for those opportunities. And then this is the same challenge I'm going to give all of you, all our listeners, all our viewers. Look for those opportunities, raise your level of awareness in ways that you can add value. You know, we've been asking questions over the last 5 episodes here about, oh, you know, how do we do this? How do we do that? How do you add value to somebody differently? One of the questions I challenge you guys with every week, 2 questions I give every week. One, when was the last time you did something for the first time? And you and I bounced that question around before. And the second one was, hey, how did you add value to somebody last week that you typically wouldn't do? You know, a random act of adding value. And so, look, my tip is raise your awareness. My challenge, go out and add some value in a way that you typically wouldn't do. Yeah, if you know, hey, husbands, if you know, you come home and you do the dishes or you bring something home or what, I mean, the things you typically do, bravo, right on.
Yeah.
But when was the last time you did something you don't typically do? You know, and that's just a challenge to the guys. I'm not going to challenge the ladies because they work hard already. But guys, really, you know, when was the last time you did something? Let me reframe this. All right, maybe here's the real gold, guys. When was the last time you did something for the first time for your significant other?
Ooh, that's good.
Ooh.
Change the game, people.
Game changer right there. Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Yeah, change the game.
There's the challenge.
Amen. So you just put yourself in the crosshairs there, Barry. So you no, I love it though. It's good.
I'm down with it, man. Like I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like I want that challenge. Like I want my wife, my significant other, to know that she's the most important thing in my world. When was the last time I did something for her for the first time? Now I could actually answer that it was today, but it's like there's extenuating circumstances. It wasn't really intentional. It was more obligational. So I'm not going to play that card.
You got to be intentional, not obligational.
Yeah, exactly. It's like something that had to be done, so that doesn't count, right?
Yeah.
But I like that, guys. And this, look, gals too. You can, I mean, you can do the math on this. But I'm a guy. I'm gonna just challenge the guys, man. Guys, go do something you haven't done. This will be the first time for your significant other. Go do it.
Do it. I love it.
If it's PG or below, go ahead and bring it back onto the website.
PG or below. I like it.
Dude, great series.
This has been good. We just want to challenge you guys if you're listening or watching. Hopefully you really enjoyed it. These are good questions. Hopefully you've had some fun listening to our dialogue. Barry and I have a lot of fun together. And it really is probing. It's been since day one, since we first met. It has been kind of just tossing these questions and these discussions and pull them together. You know, he's not, and I'm not coming to him with just all the accolades of something that we've accomplished. We're actually asking questions. We are intentional with our questions. We're asking you to be intentional with other people and ask good questions. Makes a difference. And, allow them to ask you questions too.
Look, we know we got a long way to go, and we're totally willing to admit that. Look, have fun with it, guys, gals.
Yeah.
This doesn't have to be a chore or a change of life. It's small, incremental steps of just becoming a better version of yourself. So in all of this and all of these questions, just know that good leaders ask great questions, and you got a chance to become a better version of yourself every day. But you got to be intentional. You got to take action to get a result. That result will help you figure out what you're going to do next. So with that, my friend, I say thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Barry, thank you. Thank you all for watching and listening. Appreciate you guys being a part of our podcast and the listening and the viewing. Share this with others. The links, the YouTube, the whatever podcast streaming site that you're on, share this link. We want to add that back to you. We got a new season that we're going to be rolling out shortly after this one. So this was a short one on the power of questions. But wait and watch for the next one that we'll have shortly after this. So thank you, guys.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Breaking Average podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe or share it with others. Remember, the views shared here are those of the participants. Now, as you go about your day, what's one action you can take from this episode? Join us next time as we continue to challenge the world to break average.